Human rights that every living soul on this planet should inherit by birthright.
Do we have to convince the world that Palestinian mothers are like any other mothers in this world? Until when do we have to convince the world that Palestinian children are just like any other children in this world? Until when do we have to convince the world that Palestinian men don't deserve to be dehumanized? They have not left an inch of Gaza.
I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. Certain conditions.
Hello everyone. This is Omar from the Third Rail. How are you? How's everybody doing? I'm not gonna punish you through the whole intro. We're back. Our friend is back. The friend of the show, a friend of mine for almost now 2 years. I mean, when I say friend, I mean from YouTube. So welcome back, Cosmic. How you doing, Cosmic Fox?
I'm good. How are you?
How is everything? Everything's great. How's what you up to?
I've been focusing on having my own startup business going and having a launchable product. But that's all. I don't want to talk about that because not until I launch it, at least.
What is it going to be like online?
No. It's something in real life. But
my daughter, she wants to do the same thing. But she said she was going to take her time to do it. You know, she wants to do a consultant, online consultant.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're here today. We're here to discuss the elephant in the room. There she go. Evil in his work. I stole this from Sunday. Well, we had to talk about today Brianna Wu, right? Is her name Brianna Wu?
Yeah. Or as I call her, the Wu-Tang ban. She likes to ban people.
Well, she banned you.
Oh, well, okay. So I've been blocked by her for a while. And then now that she's recently come under a lot of fire, some people have come around and said, I was told by her not to work with you. And I didn't really question it at the time. But now that I'm seeing her true colors, I regret, going along with that. And so it's funny to find out now that she can be so triggered by people that she will go around all these to other people and behind your back and say, don't talk to this person. I'm too scared of them. Well, she's spineless. She's literally spineless.
Not only she's a conniving, evil individual.
Sorry, I should say she has no integrity. She has no integrity.
No. That's why I had an issue with her, because I never knew her. But let me explain to you. When October 7th happened, we were all upset, right? Nobody wants to see children and women killed, right or wrong, right? We all condemned it. I mean, it is only the human thing to do. As it went on, then I started seeing this thing starting to shave her. That idiot, what's his name? Wick TV, that who looks like a
Wick.
Okay.
Wick went off the rails.
Yeah, and Destiny. So I saw Wick. The first show he did that. Some people ripped up like the posters of the hostages from a pole in Manhattan. He did a whole show about it. I'm like, okay, there's 3,000 dead children. He's not talking about that. I'm like, maybe, he's going to talk about it this week. Then some lady got stabbed in France. We did a whole show because of anti-Semitism, and we're not even sure she was stabbed because of who she is. Then I'm like, yo, there's something going on over here. These people are being paid. And I said it on Food Shops, and he came, he confronted me. No,
You
he's
said
getting
it to
paid.
me too.
Yeah.
When we covered Israel Palestine, you said it to me before too.
Yeah. What he told you?
No, what you said it to me that you thought he was being paid.
No, he is being paid. They're being paid through a destiny. You gotta follow the thing. And when you see such blatant hypocrisy, like what's that name, like Brianna Wu, it's unbelievable. She's blaming the left. Oh, the progressives are no good no more. The anti-Semitism. All of a sudden, we don't want to go along with a genocide. Now we're bad people, because you understand? She's like, oh, we stuck with you with BLM. We were all there with you, but you don't want to stick with us with this one, with these 40,000 people dead. The issue here is integrity and being honest. If that was happened to Jews, I'm an Arab, I'm pro-Palestinian, but I will feel the same way if they're killing children, any children, any place in the world. But when you keep on hammering in the same thing and try to do the Bill Maher and the Dave Rubin, I'm leaving the left left me, oh, they're not the same, slowly but surely moving toward the right because you want a new audience. Then she started a virtue signal to AIPAC, and she went to an AIPAC conference now because she wants to run for Congress in the future, and she saw how much money was involved. And she's pure evil. She's a person who only cares about herself. She doesn't even care about the transgender community. She even vilifies them sometime in certain shows. You say, oh, they're crazy, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, okay, so first off, I wanted to address just real quick. I don't think Destiny is the one leading the charge because I think Progressive Victory gave Wu too much room to offer other influencers, and this is a lot of other creators have said she's done, for her to offer them contracts and basically kind of gatekeep who gets to represent the quote unquote left. Not that it's very left once at the end of the day, but I mean, there's some leftists in there, but it's really not a good pick. And I think Destiny was just somebody who was kind of there at the same time, was probably given the same offer by PV, but I haven't heard of him using it as much.
No,
I'm like the last person who will ever defend Destiny, right? So I'm just trying to be accurate with this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I'm concerned in their stance on the Palestinian issue because two months before, let me just finish this. 2 months before that, Destiny had a debate with Nick Fuentes on Rumble on the Fresh and Fit program, whatever it's called, and he didn't know what Israel was. He didn't know what's going on. He decimated him. All of a sudden, you have a stand. You're talking about 1948. Well, we're talking about this. We did that. All of a sudden, you saw a certain group on the left or whatever it's called, the left, take a position that is so hard and unbelievable and not even acknowledge the death of children and women. They don't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to call it a genocide. Oh, well, this is anti-Semitism. So
I think if anything, Brianna probably got to Destiny and got him to change.
Yeah,
because that's a big thing is Brianna 100% uses that as a check to gatekeep people, right? If you claim to be a progressive or a leftist, but you also somehow paradoxically support Israel because you're really a nationalist, if we're being honest, then then you're pretty much, you can do whatever you want past that because you've already made Brianna feel safe. And that's what this is about for Brianna. She needs to feel safe in an environment that used to be full of debaters who were politically fluent and would actually be able to call out her bullshit.
Yeah.
And so she's been trying behind the scenes desperately, probably for a couple years now, even to get rid of the leftist who will call her stuff out.
Yeah, like me. Nobody will have me. Nobody will have me on the panel. I really don't care. I mean, it's not interesting. The panels are stupid anyway. Like weak panels don't make no sense because for views, he's not talking about sex and women and things. He turned it into a fucking sleazeball panel just to get eyeballs on his channel. No, and what she does is, if you ever see her, we had a four people debate the last time I was on Wick, And she's like, she'll disarm the people around. I'm sure that we disagree, but I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one. Or you can back me up on this one, even we're on. You understand? She was trying to turn everybody against me. Yeah, against me in the debate. I'm like, what the fuck, this garbage? She's like a slithering snake. Like you said, behind the scenes, she's getting banned. She got food shop banned from Wick channel. Nobody cares. The only thing that Wick will do anything for money. He's fucking garbage. Excuse my language. I don't know if I'm cursing. He's garbage. He'll do anything for $1. You can see he's a simp. He's after her. Right now, he just tweeted.
Yeah, he's definitely garbage. Totally.
Yeah, he's garbage. He's garbage. He has no integrity at all.
But like, so my thing is like, it's easy to imagine Wick being an anti-leftist. He basically shouts and screams at any person who's enough of a left winger on his show. If for Brianna though, like if you're against like anti-leftist movements, you got to like either stay off her radar or get rid of her. Like, because that's like, if you make her feel uncomfortable, she will start spreading your name behind the scenes saying, don't platform this person. You know, they're bad optics. They're bad for the movement and all of this crap that doesn't actually mean anything. Because if anything, Brianna's the one who's bad for a movement. Like if you miss when we had real debates in this space, I guarantee you she's been the one who's been taking the streamers who they lose debates, right? And then they get mad at the whole debate scene when they lose the debate. And then Brianna would probably amplify them. I saw it happen at least twice. I can't remember who. And I was like, why is she doing this? I thought she was here to debate, right? Like this was before October 7th. And now like it totally makes sense to me. It makes sense that like it seemed like the people who were against debates at the time were so much louder for some reason. And it all just came out of nowhere. It's because at one point Brianna decided these leftists are too hardcore for me. They make me look weak by comparison. So I need to get rid of them. And so like, I'm just going to point out, right? Like we can see in Brianna nationalistic tendencies. How can I explain that? Well, the fact that she refuses to relent on any of the talking points of Israel shows that this is a long-term game for her. She has decided this is the side of what could be a world war that she's taken, and she has avoided the side that she perceives to be losing, which is the side of the freedom fighters.
Yeah, and she's in it for
I'm
the
almost
money.
at Omar.
Yeah, don't forget the money. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, trust me, I'm getting there. And so for her, when it comes to freedom fighters versus the state, she's 100% a statist all day. And if we do watch the trigonometry video, you will completely hear that. It is 100% on display. But yeah, and like the other thing is for her, money is power. She's trying to accumulate power like fascists and Nazis do. Like I'm not saying like she's a full-blooded Nazi or fascist. I'm just saying there's more pushing her in that direction than pulling her back.
Right. Well, she's moving along. I think she has she's politically dishonest. I don't think she has any loyalty to any stance, not even her own community. I think her only concern is from what do you call the gate? What's it called? Gate. What's that word with the gate issue with the games? What was it called? What she called it?
I can't remember.
No, the gate.
I don't. Oh, Gamergate, right?
Gamergate. She sued. She got money, so she found that money that she could get money out of certain situation and work her around it. And I got her kind of bit on the map, and she's working it out. You know, she got to the Young Turks. She got aware. So APAC is just a new stream of income for her. She's slowly moving, and she's willing to say anything without any shame, without any embarrassment, without any conscience at all, because the leftists, many progressive, have consciousness, even if they don't like, if they never heard of the Palestinian before, but they could see with their own eyes. They're like, listen, this is not who we are. I mean, okay, so war, but you don't kill women and children like that. 40,000, 25,000 women and children to get some terrorists. Okay, you could have a war, but leave the kids and women out of it. And she'll spit the same thing. They keep on saying, "Oh, there's a lot of anti-Semitism." I went, believe me, I went to the ADL site, and I looked at anti-Semitism. I want to see how bad it is. It's on TV 24 hours a day. 111 got assaulted. 25,000 to 2,500 were verbally, harassment of vandal, and about 111 people were assaulted. I mean, maybe they don't even tell us what the data is or the police report why they were assaulted. Maybe they got into an argument on a train in New York City. So out of 330 million Americans, that's not bad. I mean, they say, I don't think people are not walking around saying, we hate the Jews, we hate the Jews. I don't think they're doing that. People are disagreeing with Israel. You see, Zionism is different from being Jewish or being or Judaism. So we got
if we just compare it to attacks against like Muslims and attacks motivated by Islamophobia, it is at least comparable. And I'd say the Islamophobia is getting a lot worse because right now that side of the issue in America and even here in Canada does not have the loudest voice. It is not as loud as AIPAC or Israel. And so if anything, people are way more afraid of doing an anti-Semitism online than doing Islamophobia.
Yeah, well, we're the new kid on the block. Yeah, and I saw a lot of stats. I went to CARE. It's like the ADL. I don't like organizations like that, but they had a lot of the same thing, a lot of lists of assaults. I'm like, listen, I have lived all my life in the United States. I mean, I had gotten into a fight in a subway. You heard this, the camel jockey. You heard this once in a while, but this is New York, man. I take it in stride. I just call.
Yeah, they're just trying to be dicks, right?
Yeah. And I'll be a bigger dick. I call them with an ethnic slur with their own kind, and we call
the
each
C
other.
word, the one we're not allowed to say on Twitch, right?
Yeah. We'll walk away. I mean, this is not, but we're not going to have this multi-billion-dollar industry of anti-Semitism and use political economic terrorism against anybody who says something that they don't disagree with, that they come after his job. I have never seen a people who were so liberal use face recognition technology for future hirement. They take these trucks, they hire them, and they put their photo in, and all day, this is an anti-Semite right in front of his house. They are using tactics that McCarthyism used in the United States in the 50s against the movie industry, against Jews themselves, and blacklist them as communists. So you cannot do that, because when you do that, it's going to come back to, like they say, they have a saying, the chicken's going to come home to roost or something like that. Eventually, it's going to be used against you eventually. You understand?
Okay, Omar, I know this is your show, but
no, it's okay. It's our show.
Since you said that, I think we should watch the trigonometry video with her first.
I got it ready. The only thing I have against that is I think it's more of they agree with each other. So when models have a centerfold, I think this is to make her look good.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you talked about cancel culture, and
so
now
first,
they've run this playbook.
Let's address the title of this video, right?
Okay,
because that there's a bit to unpack there. And one thing that I just wanted to add on from the last thing, right, is like it's hard to know what Brianna's opinions are now, right? Like, at this point, it kind of just seems like all of her opinions just have a price.
Yeah. All right. So you want me to start?
I am ready, but the title of the video is something like she's against the woke mob or something like that.
Well, she's doing Bill Maher is doing. You know who Bill Maher is, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling out everybody. I'm against the left. If they act stupid, he's just looking for a new audience. That's all he is, to sell tickets. Right. Everybody's a grifter. I could be a grifter. I don't know. Maybe if I get some traction someplace, I might turn into a white nationalist. I'm not even white, just to make money. You never know. Greed is greed. Okay, let's see.
So I got the title here. Progressive activist, and I'm gonna rip on that in a second. Speaks out against woke madness.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with calling her an activist, right?
Yeah.
She acts a lot more like a politician if you think about it. Yeah. And I think that there's a huge dividing line versus a politician and an activist, and that an activist isn't trying to be a career politician.
Right. Well, there she goes. Let's listen to how you're gonna see. This is like the way they have her looking. I think this is is to blemish her reputation more than to attack it. And these guys
100%.
And these guys are this guy. I think this guy was the dark guy who thinks he's white. He called I think Brianna Joy. He called her a DEI Barbie. DEI Barbie. Here we go.
Oh, that was so long ago, though. But the guy in the glasses, you can tell he's like a xenophobe and stuff like that. But he tries to make it like he tries to tone it down and stuff like that. So that way progressives will be more like, oh, I think he's being sensible. And we'll get there. So I don't need to.
Let's go. It's a long video. Let's go.
I used to think you were completely full of shit when you
Let me
talked
know
about
whenever you wanna
cancel
stop.
culture, and now they've run this playbook on me. The fact that the progressive fringe is now standing with the literal fucking terrorists, like, what the hell are we thinking? Look at what we're doing with the trans children debate. What is the progressive left's answer to any parent that has a question on any of that? It is shut the fuck up. We've got to move back to science and back to reality. People perceive progressives as assholes.
Whenever you want to stop, you can stop it too.
Oh,
right? You have
no.
control, right?
It's just
Yeah,
the
okay.
intro, so I
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think it's a
okay.
big deal if we talk over it,
A
right?
decade ago during Gamergate, people thought the white male gamers were the assholes. I've got news for you. Today, it's trans Twitter, it's socialist Twitter, it's terrorist sympathizer Twitter. It's us.
Brianna Wu, welcome to Trigonometry. We've been working on this interview. We've got a bunch of questions to ask you, but first of all, lots of people told you not to come on the show.
Oh my God, I announced this, what was it, 2 days ago? And my DMs have been nothing but people calling you transphobes and Nazis and racists. And I'm always like, can you show me a clip of what they've said to like make you feel that way? It's always the most silly thing. It is, I don't know. It's like
Just
no one
me
on-
doing a Hitler salute.
Yes, exactly that.
Silly
Yeah,
stuff
the
like that.
KKK costume
Yeah.
I think was a little
Well,
much.
look, it was a nice
maybe.
party.
Yeah.
What can you say? But anyway, welcome
It's
to
so
the show.
funny,
Thank
isn't
you
it,
for having me.
Omar?
I'm
It's
really
great to have you.
honored.
I've been following a lot of the things you've been saying
Sorry, yeah, if you
recently.
wanna
and
pause
it
it
was very
now.
interesting for us to.
Oh, okay, you can pause. You can pause it too. You can't.
Can I? What do I do?
Right there, on the video, it doesn't show. Don't you have control? Did you go in as an admin or just? Oh, you didn't go in as an admin.
It's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna be
respond.
saying short stuff, and then I'll save what I really need to say for when you say something.
Okay, go ahead.
It's just so funny, right? Like they wore a KKK costume, and now we just happen to be talking to each other.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not because you're a big channel and I'm trying to court your audience
Yeah.
of who definitely will have transphobes in it, by the way. Like
Yeah.
these people, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, they're not transphobes. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're not attracting transphobes
The
by
audience, yeah.
playing both sides and all that crap.
Okay. I'm gonna respond to something else. Hold on, because I saw the little video. I want to show you. I want to show you how she disarms her when she's scared in a situation. How she disarms her the person she's supposed to talk to.
To get you on the show to talk about them, because I don't know if you saw, I wrote an article very shortly after October 7th for the Free Press called The Day the Delusions Died.
Wow.
And my argument was that I thought that it was no longer possible for a lot of good people on the left to pretend that the extremes of the left were not going off the rails.
Yeah.
And you are someone who's outright progressive,
Yeah.
Democrat progressive,
Yeah.
raising money to fight Trump and all
My
the rest of it.
literal job is to get Democrats elected.
Right.
Like I'm on the team.
Yes, you're on the team.
That's
and
just
I
low
see
hanging
you
fruit,
now.
Brianna.
Yeah.
It's Twitter. It's socialist.
What the hell did I do? Okay, hold on. Okay. She wants to. She get him elected on Twitter. What the hell she does? She doesn't even leave the house.
Who's willing to stand up against the
But-
anti-Semitic extremes.
Like
on your
anyone
own
can
side.
dislike
not just
Trump.
anti-Semitic,
It's
but
just called
there's
being a
also
decent
large elements
person.
of-
Huh?
Like anyone can dislike Trump. That's a very low bar. That's just
Yeah,
being a
yeah,
decent
yeah, yeah.
person. And she's acting like she's like the most moral person ever for it. It's like
Yeah.
like
go
I
ahead.
spent a lot of time railing on Trump and stuff too, and I'm pretty sure I influenced at least a few people to change their mind. I'm not acting like I'm an activist over it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's making money, so she has to say that.
Oh right, she's making money, so she's an
Yeah,
she's a real
yeah.
activist.
I'm
Right?
trying to get
I
people.
thought.
I'm trying to get people elected. Actually, she's moving people away, and these guys, the way they have framed this situation as, if you're against genocide, you're anti-Semite. That's how they're gonna frame it. So they want to put this. They want to broad brush everybody. If you say, "Well, Israel is doing the wrong thing here," well, you're anti-Semite. Why am I an anti-Semite? Because I'm calling out a genocide. You understand? This is what they do. Even Hemi is doing it. Good.
anti-whiteness and all
Sure.
sorts of other stuff going
Yeah.
on there. So why have you suddenly taken this position?
I think the better question is where the hell is everyone else? This is the most obvious moral position in the entire world to take. Like Hamas, these are not good people. Hezbollah, the Houthis, these are not good people. So the fact that the progressive fringe is now standing with the literal fucking terrorists, like what the hell are we thinking? This is not very difficult. So for me, it's really been a realization because there have been so many things over the last decade that I've just shut my mouth about and I've gone along with. And it's really at a point now where it's gut check time. This is principles time. Whose team are you on? Are you on team
By the way,
democracy?
at a different
Or
point,
are you
she
on
will
team burn
say
everything down?
that she joined to change the space, right?
Yeah.
So she'll contradict what she said here down the road, where she's like, "Oh, I was just very meek and timid, and I tried to, humble myself, and nobody just, would change their minds."
Yeah.
But no, really, like, she's the sort of person who sees a sort of space, and I kind of get that. Like, if you see something you don't like and you think it's ruining it for other people, you might want to change it. But I think it's more like interior design for her, right? She's like, I don't really like the drapes, so I'm going to get rid of you because you don't match the drapes.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
It's been really disillusioning to see just how few people on my own side have principles. I always thought that what we were doing was about making the world better. And it's been very eye-opening to see it's actually about personal power.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to
you're
ask
one
you a
to
question
talk,
that will
Brianna.
sort of sound a little bit like an "I told you so" or anything, but it's not intended.
What you said?
I said she's one to talk because
That's what she wants.
yeah, that's what she's been leveraging pretty much since progressive victory became a thing in the States.
She's unintentionally saying what she is, and she's garbage. And
In that way, I guess a lot of people who are in our position, Francis and I both always thought of ourselves as liberal and on the left, and we worked in a very progressive comedy industry in the UK. And what happened with us is we said
So
what
they're
you're
failed
saying
comics
now
who turned
6
right-winger,
years
by the
ago.
way.
And we became,
Typical.
exactly. Yeah, it is. They were failed comics. All of a
Steven
sudden,
Crowder.
they all got captured, like audience captured by saying, because they saying the stuff that
Dave Rubin.
yeah, they're all garbage. Oh god. The mothership is Joe Rogan. Whoever goes there, he gets a new audience, a new following, and he changes right away because he becomes a audience captured. Instead of him capturing the audience captures them, and they have to continue. These two douchebags, like you said, they failed. And in the beginning, we didn't hear they're anti-whiteness. Like, he's fucking white. Look how he looks Indian. What is he talking about? They're anti-Semitic and anti-whiteness. So he has to trigger both. He has to appease the anti-Semitism crowd and the anti who think that whites are being replaced.
Nazi terror.
And to be fair, I was part of the crowd that was shouting you down and calling you those names.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, well, you weren't shouting me down personally, but
I'm talking about people like.
See, that's a disarming move. I was calling you out. I want to apologize because I was saying a lot of bad things about you. But now I'm on your side. I'm on your side now. You understand?
Yeah, particularly because she's getting attention. Because the
spotlight's on her. What she's doing right now. This is the disarming thing she does.
And so, like,
that stuff.
Right.
If there's a criticism,
I guess
for some online activists. Sorry to. Did you want to do it so that way? Can you see if I'm muting myself?
No, I hear you.
But can you see, like, I'm gonna mute myself? Did you see that?
Let me see. Do it again. Well, yes. No, I didn't see it. But I think because we're on full screen. But if I do it like this, let me see mute again. I don't see it.
Oh, okay. So I was hoping you could use that as a way to see if I wanted to speak. And crap, I honestly forgot my point there.
Yeah.
But should I come back as the admin? You might have to send me a different link because I don't know how to do that.
No, you just go to you go out, you go to the StreamYard site. You put on your you put on your.
I just don't want to do that right now. I don't remember my password or anything. So
no, you don't need a password because I think what they do, they send you to your email. They send you like a code.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with that right now.
Okay, no problem. Whatever you want. Because sometimes I don't even hear you because when you want to say something. All right, let's go.
Curious what you think is going to happen first of all with you now, because it's sort of the way it has happened today is. Anyone who was willing to challenge that fringe that you're talking about, which is anti-Western, it's anti-male, it's anti-white, it's anti-Jewish, etc., would say...
Yeah, anti-male, anti-Western, anti-white, and anti-Jewish. He's lumping all together.
What you're saying, what we've been saying for years, and they would immediately become evil, right-wing, Nazi, far-right, etc., and that's kind of
One
it.
of the
And no
one of
one
the
else would
problems
stand
with
up and
this,
say anything,
That's right.
as has happened. So what
like,
what are
how
you
can you say
expecting
no
to
one has
happen?
Well,
stood up
I've
for
lost
this?
more friends than I can.
Huh?
How can you say no one has stood up for this, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely been the case that, if not like the right wingers and the centrists, like Wick, were spending, you know, like full panels being like, "Oh, these poor men. Why don't we think about the men? Won't somebody please think of the men?" Right? Like that meme, the clutches pearls meme. It's the men aren't forgotten. White people aren't forgotten. They are the majority. Their
Yes.
voices are the default. The
Yes.
left isn't against these things. They're trying to create a louder, if not equal, voice for the people who white men tend to speak over, and white women, and just like, let's even point out white trans women when they speak over black trans women, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Count, right? So I'm very much trying to make new friends. I think the long-term path of this is progressivism and socialism in the United States. It's a cultural dead end. This is not going to go anywhere. There's no universe where like progressives win power and manage to get a ton of congressional seats and pass the legislation that I believe in. It is devolved into, exactly as you say, a bunch of culture war nonsense.
And Brianna's problem. Oh, sorry. Brianna's problem is that she can only think inside the box.
Yeah.
Is my mic better now?
Your mic has been good all the time. The only thing is that the reason I don't hear you sometimes because she's louder, like the way the program is. So sometimes I don't even know if you're talking or not. That's the only thing.
I just, I don't want to talk down to you, or again, I don't want to tell you how to run your show, but maybe like it's possible to turn the YouTube video down a bit.
You want me to? I did it to the middle. I really thought about that. You want to do more? You see?
So the thing is like, you'd have to make sure your audience is getting the same level. So make sure you turn your stream up.
So, what I've had so many conversations with friends about this, because every single progressive activist that I know is really frustrated with this destructive tendency that we have. And all of us are going, what can we do? Your industry has audience capture where you kind of get into a lane and you can't challenge your own audience because your numbers will drop. I think in the progressive space, there's very much the same thing, where there's this tendency to go lefter and lefter and lefter and lefter. And now we're at a point where we can't even say things like trans women don't have periods without people getting really upset about that. Look at my mentions literally right now. So someone's got to stand up and go,
Brianna cannot handle
not
nuance
right.
here, right? So the argument isn't that we're not against people saying trans women can't have periods. Yeah. Trans women do not bleed out of their vagina, their neo-vagina. That statement is true. The debate, which Brianna completely avoided here because she's afraid of acknowledging it, because she's afraid of debate, is that trans women get PMS. And I can tell you firsthand, they do. And if it might not be like, there might not even be a perfect way to test if it's 1-to-1, right? Yeah. But everything from like the cramps to the hot flashes when I lost my hormones, everything is exactly what's described by PMS that some trans women go through, right? Just like some women have varying degrees of PMS as well. And it's worth noting, right? Like by us saying that we have PMS, we're not making women less than at all, because some women don't even have PMS. It's very normal to also not have PMS for some women. So it's not like this thing that all women need to have and only women can have. Right. It's a hormonal process. It's that simple. It's just hormonal. Yeah. Mostly like it's 90% hormonal. And then some of the tissue in the fallopian tubes can also either make it worse or participate in some of like the pain that's involved. So we don't get cramps from the shedding of the lining in the uterus, but we get cramps from inflammation and stuff like that can still happen in that area of the body, in like the lower abdomen. All right. Okay. From my best understanding, hopefully I haven't miscommunicated anything. No problem.
Crazy town. I didn't get into progressive politics to talk about trans women having periods. I got into progressive politics to pass fucking health care.
God
So
damn it! Why
we're
can't
either
everything
serious
revolve around
about
her?
course correcting.
She's narcissistic. She's a narcissistic person. She has a narcissistic. I said that the first day I heard her on Wick. That's why she told you don't talk to me, because I hated on her. I can't. I used to bother her on the panel. I said, "Oh, you don't know shit. Shut up." And she gets upset.
On this cultural dead end, or Donald Trump and MAGA are going to win everything, and the pain for the Democratic Party is going to be extreme. We've got to start talking more to people in the middle, and we need to be reaching out to sane Republicans, in my view.
Brianna, don't you think part of the problem is when it comes, look, and both sides suffer with this, but I think the left suffer with this more. It's this purity ritual that you have. You are not left unless you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the moment you challenge one of those tenets, you're out.
That's what they did. They're challenging the Palestinian issue. Hold on. There's a book called Progressive and Everything But Palestine. It's written by Mark Lamont and a guy named Bernard. He's a Jewish guy, professor.
You should put a picture of the cover up on screen for the audience to see as well.
No, I don't have it on hand. I bought it. I usually have it someplace in there. But it's called Progressive on Everything But Palestine. He said the progressive on everything, we're progressive, but when it comes to Palestine, no, you leave that alone. You let them suffer in silence. This is what it is. It has nothing to do. The left has not changed. We still have the same goals: human rights for the minorities, for the people who are on the floor, to get them up. Programs, economic programs, universal healthcare, universal education, the things that we need, like you said, that the majority have, but we need to give it an opportunity to the minority to have the same thing as the majority. Nothing has changed. She just took this issue with the Palestine and ran right with it.
That's exactly right.
Exactly right.
Again, look at my mention. She can see this firsthand. It's not enough to, like, I am as progressive as you can get. Universal health care. I want structural solutions to heal this gaping wound of racism that's existed in our country since slavery.
She's basically saying I'm as center left as you can get. I'm as non-radical on literally everything because I'm afraid to take any risky stances.
Yeah, she's following the money, trust me.
And like she's created her own purity culture of progressives where like as soon as you start having opinions that are far leftist, as soon as you start supporting Palestine, then you're one of those quote, and this is me quoting her in her ableism, quote unquote nut job leftist, and you're not to be interacted with. You're shunned.
Not only that, you're anti-Semite automatically. That's it. Game over.
Well, she learned that from the Zionists. They've been doing that forever.
Well, everybody knows the problem is America has awakened to TikTok, awakened America. Everybody is awakened. Before, nobody awakened to the issue. Palestinians have been suffering for 75 years. Nobody knew. Nobody understood what they were saying. All of a sudden, the young college students, liberals, and progressive, and even people on the right, they say, "Whoa, looks wrong over here. What's going on? Oh, you've been chasing them for 75 years. You took away their country. You came from Eastern Europe, and all of a sudden, you want to get." This is the problem. There is no issue. It's very easy. We just want to start the genocide. Israel has the right to exist in its own borders, within its borders, and the Palestinians should have their own state and free will and self-determination to erect their own state instead of being subjugated. This is what this world is all about. We're gonna subjugate you. We're not gonna give you independence, and if you fight back, we're gonna mass murder you. That's what it is. There's no way out. So
well, Omar,
sorry,
I just want to make sure I can get in before you play it. You told me a book, and that book sounds really awesome, by the way. I sent you a paper, and it's called, I think, just let me make sure I get it right. Israel and Anti-Semitism, A Critical View.
Yeah.
And so this is actually part of a series of papers that were published in this journal, and I think it was a one-off. And it's from 1985, and where they talk about this, right? And one of the things that they say is Zionism is probably one of the most anti-Semitic things.
That's how they
in Jewish culture.
That's how they strive. What they do is they've been doing this since the 1930s. They want to create anti-Semitism in Europe or America to scare the Jews to migrate to Israel, because without anti-Semitism, they can't have people move.
Well, not just that, right? Like the way they gatekeep their own and say, unless you support the state of Israel, you're not a real Jew.
Yeah, they do that. A matter of fact, in the Arab Jews,
especially in Israel. Like
yeah,
not so much in Western media, not so much in the Western eye, because they know that we will not like that.
yeah,
But in Israel, that's almost a norm.
this is it. One time I read a statement from a leader of a Zionist movement in the 1950s, in the 1940s, when they tell him, "Why aren't you helping the ghetto, the Jewish ghettos in Poland?" I think it was. He said to me, "A Jewish cow in Jerusalem is worth more than 10 Jews in Poland." These motherfuckers are evil. The evil son of a bitch. They don't care. I mean, it's a racist movement. It's based on the
Also,
idea.
I would be careful, by the way, about perpetuating that, because
What is
you don't.
that?
Well, no, it's not. It's just the saying itself. Like you could have like an actual anti-Semitic person, like a Nazi, hear that and then like start spreading it, and then you
No,
just
but
don't want that to spread, right? Is all I'm thinking. But
no, but
I
it's
hear
in a
what you're
book.
saying.
I, I
Like,
want to I want you to write this. There's a guy named Elam Pape. He's an Israeli scholar,
okay,
and he wrote a book. What is it called? The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine. He's on
PAP,
YouTube. Huh?
PA.
Elan, Ilan
Oh, okay.
Pappe. He's a scholar and he's a Jewish scholar. And when he studied, he went to Oxford to study. When he saw the truth, what they were doing, then he became pro-Palestinian. He says Israel doesn't have to exist. They need one
Oh yeah, I've
state.
heard of him.
Yeah,
I recognize him now.
he's on the YouTube. He's all over the place. There's another scholar, same thing. The whole idea is Zionism is based on neo-colonialism. The idea is we need to replace the native population by any way, by any means necessary, and we have to use violence if they don't leave. They have to leave. It's not like we're going to live with them and they're going to live with us, and we create this one state. Even if we dominate the state, they don't want them there at all. This is scary stuff. This is Nazi behavior. You understand?
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
incredibly nationalistic,
Yeah.
especially.
Of it.
Yeah.
But when it
And
comes
we'll
to
see
the
here.
optics,
Brianna
right?
speaks, walks, talks,
Yeah.
thinks like a nationalist.
Not only that, Judaism doesn't have nationalism. You know that, right? Judaism is not even an ethnicity. Jews, when you speak to rabbis, they say we're not an ethnic. We are a religious group. Wherever we are, we belong to that. Like if you're in America, we're American Jews. We are American. If we're in Yemen, my country, we're Yemeni Jews. We don't have a nationality, and the only time we're gonna have it is when the Messiah comes and we go to Israel. Right now, we don't have nothing. Wherever we live, we're loyal to that state, wherever we are, and we are those people we live with. You understand what I'm saying over here?
And it's incredible how deadly those prophecies are, right? Like someday he's coming back and it's going to be in Jerusalem. So we need to be in
Yeah.
Jerusalem.
No, the Zionists, the Christian Zionists, are packing up the Jews into
Yep.
Israel in the hope of bringing the second rapture, so the Jews will be killed if they don't accept Jesus. And the Jews are using the Jew and the Zionists are using the Christian Zionists to get the money and maintain the state. It is like a marriage of inconvenience. Or, you know, like remember when the old Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, the lesser of two evils
Yeah, when
for
they get
the
stuck on an
American
island.
Christians.
When
Yeah.
they get stuck in an island, everybody's seen the other one as food. You understand? That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, it's the same thing. It is unbelievable. It is dangerously, and I think Zionism thrives to create anti-Semitism in other countries to drive Jews to Israel. They did that in France. Let me give you an example before we get back. In Arabia, in the 1950s, they used violence. The Mossad used to come to Baghdad, Iraq, the capital. 40% was Jews, and they were the elites, like the educators, the musicians. They used to put bombs in the synagogues, in the recreational clubs, or whatever, the soccer places, to scare them to go to Israel, and it worked.
Well, even just more recent, like when you look at the campus protests and some of the people that they would send there to act like anti-Semites, like where are they getting those scripts? Who's telling them to say that, right? Like it's the call is coming from inside of the house.
Yeah, the whole idea is that it's bullshit. I feel sorry what they did to the students. I think the students were peaceful. They meant well, and they were very careful what to say, what not to say. They were organized. But they picked the wrong enemy. Zionists are very strong in the United States. Have you seen AIPAC? There's an app called Track AIPAC, or on Twitter it's called Track AIPAC. And if you see, it is disgusting that out of 100 senators, 97 receive money from AIPAC. Every single House member receives money from the AIPAC except the squad and some of those leftist or libertarian guys.
Bernie still does, I think, too. It saddens me so much.
But Bernie, you know, we voted. You know, me and my kids, we all went to vote for him when he was in New York the first time in 2016. I never saw energy in my kids. You know, I have some voting age. You know, I'm an old guy. What happened is that I said, "Where you going?" He said, "I gotta go vote." I said, "Who? Bernie Sanders." I said, "What the hell you know about Bernie Sanders?" This is an old guy from Vermont. He said, "No, where is the revolution?" I go. The whole idea is that when the October 7 happened and they started killing the pilot, it took him a long time to come around and condemn what's going on until it was disgusting that he had to come around and condemn. You understand?
And just because we're gonna have to get back on this, just to bring us back to more what she's talking about. Like, notice how we're not trying to say like, oh, we need to cancel Bernie because he did that, right? We just said it causes conflict in us and it saddens us, right?
Yeah.
Brianna's whole thing is she is taking something that she'll also admit, especially with her debate with Queeman, that's when it comes. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. My son came in, my young kid. Well, I was going to say, you're absolutely right, bro. Bernie Sanders, we're not here to condemn or anything, but we disagree with him on a certain thing. But he's what we have right now, so we're going to latch to him until we got something better.
And you're going to see, like Brianna say in her debate with Queeman, if we end up getting to that, that she has like a blurred past where she kind of acted a bit nuts. Again, her kind of wording for this, where she basically probably acted like a Puritan, if we're being honest, because most political people who come in from a far angle tend to want to see people with like minds surround them. That's just kind of normal. But so you would think that she would come to like empathize with that, right? Like, oh, I've been there. I want to help these people instead of just cast them into the shadows. But no, she sees an opportunity to weaponize that to get more quote unquote normies on her side, and then she can build a career off of that. This is why the left stands against capitalism of all things, by the way. Like not because of Brianna Wu, but because people like Brianna Wu can absolutely dominate without having any integrity whatsoever.
Right. I just want to add something. When I was on Wick with her, you know what Wick did? He lowered my microphone on purpose. I didn't know that. So when I went to listen to myself the next day I couldn't even hear myself that good. She's so evil, this individual. Listen.
We've got to start having more serious conversations about how people perceive us. People perceive progressives as assholes. That's the truth.
You're the only asshole.
A decade ago during Gamergate, people thought the white male gamers were the assholes. I've got news for you. Today, it's trans Twitter, it's socialist Twitter, it's terrorist sympathizer Twitter. It's us. We're the ones doxing people. We're the ones sending death threats. We're canceling everyone in sight. And at the end,
she's canceling us. She told you not to speak to me. She told Wick not to speak to a food shop. She's the one who's doing everything she's saying. She's projecting her behavior.
She wants to cancel literally anyone who's more far left than her, and it's so freaking clear. The more she talks about the far left, that she sees no value in anybody who thinks more hardcore on subjects that she claims to be passionate about. But I'm telling you, like she only did this because she thought it would make her popular. She jumped on a bandwagon in the Trump era, in the trans rights era, and I'm not like. By the way, I'm going to say this much: I'm never going to question her transness based on this because she's been trans for a very long time. And I think that's a genuine part of herself. I don't see anything about her that would make me question that, and I don't. And the only thing is I think she tends to throw trans people under the bus.
That's what I was going to say.
Competition. She's afraid of competition, and that's simply it.
Not only that, she knows there's a lot of hate toward the transgender community. Remember what she said? Trans Twitter. She'll throw anybody under the bus because she knows there's hatred toward them. So she's going to say, I'm not like them. You understand? I am different.
What she's not saying is, in reality, is that when she was pro-trans, like the louder group was the pro-trans side, because it was kind of novel at the time. Most people had just encountered it, and they were proud to be like, yes, I can accept this. Even cisgender people. Now that support has really died out, and there's not nearly as many people fighting for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
She's taken that bit of that moment of silence that comes after the banter, after everyone's all riled up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And she's turned that into, well, no, now everyone hates them, right? People can't stand them because even though I sued Alex Jones for defamation, I'm now going to take his blue-haired SJW stereotype and weaponize that.
Yeah, she's evil. Okay, let's see.
I don't think it's evilness. I don't think it's evilness, but I do think that
anybody who condones the murder of children is evil. Trust me.
I think she's a real rhetorician, and that's why she's being very strategic, and she's literally weaponizing things that should be good for the left.
She's calling people who are against the murder of children jihadists or whatever it is. She's using these words that they give them, like the Zionists give them to you to scare away Americans.
Yeah, the Hasbara handbook.
The Hasbara handbook. There's a nice podcast called Bad Hasbara with Matt Lieb. You probably like it.
Trust assholes with power. I'm sorry, it's just the truth.
And you said at the start of this conversation something that I found very interesting. You basically said that you had reservations about things that had happened before October 7th. What were those things that you shut your mouth over? And the second part of that question is, do you regret it now, seeing what it's become?
I definitely do. So let me give you a really specific example. When I was running for Congress in 2018, right, you had the Women's March, and you had elements of the Women's March that were out there with this pro-Palestine, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic nonsense. Very anti-Israel and veering into the most anti-Semitic language that you could possibly have. That was wrong. I made the decision to keep my mouth shut, which was a tremendous error in judgment. And because people like me shut up in those years, it kept getting worse. And those seeds kept growing, and now it's basically taken over the entire progressive movement. I don't know if it can be saved in time. And you can go into any number of issues, like self-ID with trans people, or
by the way,
I remember during Gamergate, there was this
progressives are now pro-Palestine because Brianna Wu didn't speak out. The entire course of history was changed because Brianna Wu's decisions.
Yeah, she's an idiot.
She's definitely clueless. Like, so far, she has not made any policies. I'm starting to think she doesn't know what policy is, because every time I've heard her come to like her be prompted to make a policy, she makes some gesture about like what would be nice to happen. And admittedly, I've done that before without realizing what I'm doing. But she doesn't seem to understand how policy prescriptions lead to material change at all. And yet she's trying to get people in office and all this stuff.
To talk about the number of women we were.
By the way, I think are you playing something over the speaker? I can hear some background audio, I think.
No, somebody's doing their lawn. I live in the suburbs, so some idiot decided to do the lawn when I'm recording. That's probably my wife.
My bad.
No, it's all right. Outside, see how loud it is? You hear it, eh?
Only a little bit. It's just a little bit of background audio, and I wasn't sure if it was like you were watching another video at the same time or something.
No. This is a lawn, I think. And the kids are knocking. I got a lot of kids. I got 6 kids. Okay, hold on.
Whiteness as something that we were featuring in games. And I'm like, it's a little bit extreme, but we'll go along with it. So it was just one more step after another. And now it's 10 years later. Look at where we are. We are completely unelectable. This strategy is failing.
I suppose the question that I'm curious about, and I hear people on left and right saying this often, and I don't understand why they say it. So and you did say it, so I'm curious to explore this. You called the culture war nonsense.
It is.
Well, you say it is, and I suppose it depends. What exactly do you mean by that, first of all, before I jump in with my opinion?
We have different jobs, right? You are a public advocate and a public figure, and you have a very specific agenda that is pro-free speech, one I agree with. But my job is different. My job is public policy. My job is to get candidates elected, and my job is to back channel specific bills to get them passed. Right. So in my view, as soon as you get something like family medical leave and you turn it into a right versus left culture war,
Oh,
you
sure.
have automatically lost the
Oh,
conversation.
yeah. No, that I agree with you about. I
Yeah.
guess the reason I ask you, Bran, is that the way I see what's going on, and I'll lay it out for you the
Sure.
way that I see it, and
Sure.
you feel free to pick away at it, challenge, whatever, is here's my conception of the culture war as it happens. I feel that there is a determined, organized attempt to undermine the basic building blocks of our civilization.
Yes.
And those of us who are willing to A, see that, and B,
Yes.
say something about it, are called culture warriors. That's what people say about me, for example. Oh, he's just a culture warrior. And my view is our culture is really important.
I
Our
agree.
culture is why we are where we are. Our culture is why we're successful. Our culture is why our civilization is
this
rich
is just
and
like
powerful and dominant
incredibly
around the
ironic
world.
from her.
Because of our culture.
Yeah.
This
So
is just incredibly
if
ironic
people
from
on
her,
the-
considering that she's definitely trying to have a culture war within the online political discussion space.
Yeah.
And I think what she's doing is she's trying to create, like, us versus them with we're doing real politics because we're getting people to Pokemon go to the polls while they're just commentating, or they're just doing whatever. They're just doing culture war. And that's her way of creating a waste bin that she can throw people in. But if you examine any of her actions online and the way she talks about online stuff, like, oh, I joined and the culture wasn't the way I wanted it to be, and I kept my mouth shut for too long, and then the culture blew out of control. She's just like a right winger who's mad at culture wars while she's the one fighting them.
Yeah, I left I didn't leave the left left me. That's what she's trying to say. The same fucking formula that Dave Rubin is doing, that did the same thing as Walmart is in the process. Russell Brand is left. All of a sudden he's religious. He was atheist. All this stuff is all garbage. And
which group of audience has the deepest pockets, right?
Right. That's where the money is. They make a lot of money. The right wing channels, they make a lot of money because I'm gonna tell you, a long time ago I had a different channel and I had Hake. Hake was like was banned from YouTube, and I gave him a chance.
Yeah.
You know Hake, right?
Yeah, I know about him.
They came. I had like 700 viewers from his side, and they were all, thank you, you're the best, Omar, thank you. I said, God, these people have a loyal base, loyal base, that they're willing to play with my head, that they like me because I gave an opportunity one of theirs to talk on YouTube, because he was not allowed at all. Now he's back. But the whole idea is that that's where the money is.
And
leftists. Look at Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is good, but he's good on Palestine. But he just took that vaccine stuff and all that stuff and just went and ran with it. And he accumulated this right wing, like almost right wing audience, where he attacks the left, he attacks that, but he never attacks Trump. And you'll have 6,000-7,000 people watching him live, more than the Young Turks sometimes. You understand? Yeah.
Leftists, like, this lines up totally with her rhetoric. Leftists are not where the money is at. We're not focused on maximizing our profits or making getting like the largest audience as possible. We have an agenda. We have a political agenda, by the way, not just a cultural agenda, and we're here to advocate for it. Now, and notice how she's pretending like she respects advocates here, right? Well, as soon as they're far leftist, that goes right out the window, no matter how good they are. No matter how respectable they are. The closest I've seen her get is Ben Burgess, and honestly, Ben Burgess is pretty moderate.
Yeah.
He's good on some things, but he's pretty moderate in general.
Yeah, I guess so.
Progressive left, and it is people on the progressive left. There are some on the right now too, in response, I think.
The problem with this is both three agree on everything. She's she's trying to please them to look good, and she's looking for a new audience, like you said. She wants to attract that almost right. They're not going to accept her. I'm going to tell you right now.
Well, do you remember when Stardust said the same thing? And you should bring up that tweet where she also tried to mingle with Lauren Southern, like Destiny also did, to try to attract their fan base and be like, I can change them. Like, by the way, a lot of these fan bases are, if they're not driven by hate, they're driven by the idea that, like, they can disrupt people's emotions, right? Like they can bully somebody if I'm being like, if I'm jumping to conclusions. Like these aren't like the sort of people who you want to just suddenly be on your side, and if anything, parroting your rhetoric without actually believing it.
You
Like
saw
that.
what they did to Dave Rubin when he announced that he's having 2 kids, and they said, "How you gonna have 2 kids?" And they all ran against him, and he had to, curve around and try to talk, and he lost a lot of them. That's why sometimes he even attacks his own community to please that fan base that he has accumulated. He's captured. You understand? If I go online and start saying, "Oh, those Arabs are crazy, they're terrorists," I'm an Arab and I know them. APAC will reach out to me. They're gonna give me some money. They're gonna give me a platform and let me self-hate every day of the week. And maybe I get addicted to that money, but I can't. I have a conscience of that idea. Even sometimes, I get upset with leftists and things like that. But I know that I'm a minority no matter what. I'll always be a minority in the eyes of the majority. So I need that base. I need that alliances with these people to survive.
Yeah,
You understand?
Yeah, and I also think she's trying to cultivate people who will vote for her before she runs.
She wants the money. She's waiting for some guy to retire. And
it can be column A and column B.
I don't know what's his name. She said it. She said, "I'm waiting for him to retire."
David Lynch, or not David Lynch, Lynch. His last name.
There are people who
in Massachusetts.
Stephen Lynch, yeah.
Yeah, she wants to take it.
Want to say
and that's so cowardly,
evil or wrong or bad.
And she probably would if they give her the money that she needs, because they're trying to get rid of Jamal Bowman from New York City, and they have spent $25 million on a seat, a congressional seat that out of 435, but they want to get rid of him because he said, "No, that's a genocide. I disagree. We should not give money to Israel until it stops killing them." And they spending $2 million a week just on the primary. They already spent 25, not the election, the general election. They try to defeat him, and they are going to defeat him. He's a progressive. He's part of the squad-like group. You heard of him, Jamal Bowman?
Yeah.
G-A-M-A-L.
Yes, I've heard of him.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him because he stands for his right, and if you take a punch in the face for it, so what? But as long as I have my integrity with me when I leave.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's important to push back against that and to prevent them from succeeding.
Yeah.
That's how I see the culture war. So to me, defending our culture isn't nonsense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if you're defining it that way, I'm 1,000% on board with you.
Wow, she's so
I
malleable.
think there's a growing tendency on the progressive side to try to burn everything in sight down. They're the mirror image of MAGA. They're accelerationist. They want to burn democracy, like our institutions, our news, everything in sight to the ground, right? They want to burn the idea of gender to the ground itself.
They want to burn gender to the... Okay, so this is strictly a far-right talking point that she just made. We have to point this out. There's no centrism in that.
Hold on. What did you say?
There is no centrism in the talking point that that the left is trying to destroy gender. So this is one of those classic grains of truth, but totally missing the point type thing, where we want to get rid of forcing people to conform to gender.
Yeah.
We still want people to be able to exist as boys and men and girls and women and in between and outside of that.
Yeah.
But what we don't want is for people to be shamed because they don't fit within one of those two boxes. Like I was walking down the street today, right? Yeah. And somebody had gone through the effort to post on every light post. And it wasn't like that. It wasn't like a printed out thing or anything. They literally scribbled on some paper and used painter's tape to tape it up. Only 2 genders. Over and over and over again. There must have been like 50 of these things.
Yeah.
That's how obsessed people are with forcing people to conform.
That's a lot of fucking work. That's a lot of hatred right there.
Like you're a dictator. When you're that obsessed with making people conform to something, you're a dictator.
Yeah. Not only that, I mean, who the fuck takes the time to write on fucking 50 different polls? I don't even have time to write on one poll of anything. Listen,
needless to say, by the way, I tore them all down and made sure I threw them in the trash so they couldn't be put back up again.
Yeah, those are idiots. The most dangerous people are these guys. You know, you ever hear that movie? You see that movie Scream when the guy is calling, he's inside the house? This is Brianna Wu is very dangerous in her, the way she talks, the way she designate people as jihadists or jihadist lovers or transgender Twitter or leftist Twitter. Yeah, she's putting people in boxes, and that's what people have been put in her whole life, and she's doing the same thing to other people.
But like particularly like the way she's talking right now is the sort of thing only a right winger could love.
She's very comfortable with them. You know, I mean, they just kissing each other's asses right now. It just, oh, you're right. He said, oh, I agree with that too. You know, they agree. They shouldn't even put that show. They shouldn't have even put this video out because they agree on everything.
So I often say that neoliberals are the door holders for fascists.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. She is way more malleable with the far right and their agenda than the far left.
All right.
Do they not know what has happened in Syria over the last decade? Like they just have so little.
She didn't even
information.
know. Well, I swear to God.
I guarantee you, Omar, she will offend you if she tries to talk about it right now.
Yeah, she doesn't even know anything. She didn't even know nothing about the Palestinian. I'm going to show you. I have a small clip of her.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't want to ruin this, but don't you want to go? Don't you watch the video that where they busted her for being a fake and a phony?
I mean, I've seen several, but I'm here for more. I have one from Little Joel too, and that one is particularly about her not understanding policy.
Stuff about the history.
Wait, hold on. Let me get this. Right.
Can I also? I'm going to send you one more video, by the way. Can you play that right now? Because that's just to buttress my point about her not understanding policy.
Many of those are descendants of the people that didn't get him.
Okay, this is they talk about Palestine. She's talking to a guy named Kevin Logan. He's a British kid, or British
Love
man.
Kevin.
You know him, right? He's very
yeah, we're mutuals.
Oh yeah, and I started one day. I was in the debate with him. We were partners, and I started making fun of Governor Abbott that he's in a wheelchair, and he got upset. He said, "No, don't make fun of it. Don't make about his what's that ableism? I don't know what the word was.
His disability.
Yeah, disability. He doesn't know I'm disabled too. So I said, I kind of got it. Where's your video? Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can.
It's almost there. I've almost got it.
Oh, it's online. Okay, it's
in Twitter. It's in your Twitter DMs. And by the way, I love that you just called it Twitter, not X. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I don't know if it's sent. It's actually.
It's not
weird.
a video. All I see is it's a letter or something.
Okay, now there's two. Let me just check it. Oh, it's Patreon for no. Okay, no, that's never mind. I misread that. It should be. And this is a really short and concise video, and it's very good because I love Big Joel.
Let's watch this until yours the upload. Okay.
There was immense violence on both sides. When Palestinians left. Hold on, and just one more thing. And a really interesting fact with this is Israel's 20% Arab population. Many of those are the descendants of the people that didn't get involved with the fighting, stayed in their homes, and just went.
They didn't fight. If you look at
the good Arabs, Omar.
Yeah, the good. They don't want to fight. The other people, they were murdered and raped. And by the time the war happened with the Arab country, they already got rid of 750,000 by force. If you got to read the book or get it, I have it. It's very long. It's called by Elian Pep.
Well, it's just wild, right? Because I'm sorry, like I know you want to recommend the book, but I just need to point out before I forget. Like the debate panels are all like the most recent serious debate was what's a genocide, right? And it's been all over the place. Genocide is when you kill a bunch of people because you're fighting a war against them and you don't want them to rise up against you. Honestly, it's not that complicated in the modern era to identify a genocide versus modern warfare.
We could change the word if they don't like the word genocide. We could say a lot of killings. Maybe maybe we'll change
mass slaughtering.
Mass slaughtering. Maybe this will help out. Okay,
that's on both sides. Palestinians left. Hold on, and just one more thing. A really interesting fact with this is
plug your book.
Israel's 20.
You have a book, right? I feel bad for cutting you off.
I wish because. It's so long. It's like 29 hours. You listen to it. I fall asleep most of the time. It's by Ellen Pepe. It's called The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine. He gives you the exact history out of the archive in England and London, other country. He never used one paper from the Israeli archive. Even if he mentions it, he'll tell you, I don't trust it. Israelis are liars. The Zionists are liars. They lie about everything. And that's why he became anti-Zionist. When he studied it in Oxford, him and another Jewish scholar, they said they lied to them. It was not a land without the people and the people without a land. It was a metropolitan area. Let me just see, Kevin.
It's 1984 over there.
Huh?
It's George Orwell's 1984 over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Percent Arab population. Many of those are the descendants of the people that didn't get involved with the fighting, stayed in their homes and just went, "Oh, I'm Israeli now."
Okay. Firstly, the Nakba was happening before the war took place. Secondly, your use of the word "left" there is a very, very telling piece of passive voice. They were driven out, innocent, unarmed
There's
civilians
a lot of evidence
were
that the
driven
Arab
out
League
at
told them to
gunpoint.
leave.
The
Arab League told them to leave under many. I
Huge-
understand this contested history.
Huge
but
numbers of
there's
people
evidence,
were
yes.
murdered by the Israeli state. That's what happened
And-
here,
but-
and expelled from the country.
The Arab League
ethnic
was the one that
cleansing.
started the war.
It's
I don't think
the
it's ethnic
Nakba.
cleansing. I think
The
it was
Arab
a war.
League,
Yeah.
Huge numbers of one ethnic group were removed from their historic homeland by another ethnic group.
That's before the war, cosmicfox. By the time the people got involved, it was 750,000 already been kicked out. The Arab world with Arab countries, they're not even countries. They were still under colonial subjugation. So they didn't even have real armies. They try to get involved and attack. They can attack. The Israeli army was trained by the British. They had airplanes. They have tanks. So the whole idea is that those good Arabs, they stayed because they don't want to get involved. It's not they got rid of so many. These people, they just forgot to get rid of them.
It's
Anyway,
like you said, it's neo-colonial.
It is. This is dangerous talk. Let me move this out. Let's see a video. I just saw it. I love this picture that what's his name?
President Sunday did.
Yeah, President Sunday. But I think he's having a lot of issues. He doesn't look too good. I mean, I don't want to say anything to get him upset, but I helped him with. He said he wanted to move or something. But he looks unkempt. Unkempt, is that the word in English?
Unkept.
Yeah. He doesn't look good.
I think that's just a normal thing, right? Like he's looking like a professor who's just about to go to bed.
Like the mad professor. I think he's drinking too much.
No, I think it's an aesthetic, right? Like I think he's, and maybe you're right. Like, and if he does need help, I hope he can get it. But
yeah, he doesn't. I know him before. He looked clean cut. He used to shave.
Because I like Sunday. I think he's overall a person who contribute. Like I don't always appreciate the way he goes after people.
President Sunday, if you're listening, I appreciate you. I helped you with the GoFundMe.
We're not that important. Come on, Omar.
No, I did help him. I gave him.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I want him to succeed because you need. Okay, here you go. This is the video. You see it on the screen? Is it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here you go.
Few days, I've been thinking about a tweet from Brianna Wu. She posted a picture demonstrating that male virginity is on the rise and wrote the text, "It's unquestionably true that loneliness in young men is a skyrocketing problem. What is the policy prescription? The best one I have is that we need older, emotionally mature men to step up and help socialize these lost boys." And she continued to write, "The other policy issue is undoubtedly social media and online addiction stopping people from forming relationships in the real world. But I cannot."
What did you say?
So she seems to think a policy issue is when there's social media and online addiction stopping people from forming relationships.
I don't think of a coherent policy response to that. So I want to focus here. I'm sick, by the way. That's why I'm talking like this. So I want to focus here on that first tweet, Brianna's best policy prescription. We need older guys to step up and help socialize younger boys. So this is probably obvious, but the first thought I had upon reading this tweet was, that's not a policy. That doesn't describe any kind of policy. Maybe there's some general legislation we could pass that would encourage older guys to help younger ones, but I doubt it. And in any case, the suggestion on its face doesn't refer to any coherent policy, a concrete thing we can actually do to society. And given that what Wu is saying is not a policy prescription, I found myself asking, why exactly did we start here? Why was this our first crack at the problem of male virginity? If you asked me, Henry, why do you think younger guys are more likely not to have as much sex these days? I would suggest a few possibilities. Maybe it's that living at home with your parents is so much more common now than it used to be. Maybe it's that people aren't getting married as young.
They can't afford to go out. There's no jobs. There's no real jobs. They can't go live on their own. So it's embarrassing to bring women home.
Women are
to
always
say
working
least.
too, because it's
Yeah.
impossible to pay for a nuclear family with just a single income.
You know, women are very more successful now. I think 70% of women are in universities to 30% of men. Women are killing it in the education department, and they don't want to date losers. Let's be honest. I mean, if you say, "Oh, I live with my mother and I play video games all day," it doesn't look too good for a girl named Susan who went to 4 years in college. She got a bachelor degree in biology or in science, whatever it is. She's like, you know,
Yeah, hell yeah,
yeah.
girl bosses rise up.
Wage stagnation.
Yeah, they rise up. They shoot up. It's only natural. Women look when they have income or they have success, they want someone who's like them or better. They don't punch
Yeah.
down. They don't want to go downward. You understand? It's not. It's natural. Yeah.
Maybe it's because there aren't a lot of public spaces for people to meet without the internet. Maybe, as Brianna suggests, men have more options to be entertained at home that don't involve going out and having sex. You could come up with a million factors here, and some have associated policy prescriptions that I'd want to enact, and some don't. But why, when we're talking about this, is it so easy to suggest what Brianna does? That the problem is some rot in the psyche of young men, that the reason they're not having as much sex is that they have not been trained competently in the proper ways to be a man, and that solving this problem involves some loose policy surrounding the actions of like 40-year-old guys. Yeah. Brianna's tweet is not the first time I've seen ideas like this. There's a lot of discourse on the internet these days surrounding the idea that masculinity is
that's
in crisis, and that
Big Joel's other that's Big Joel's other channel. So it's kind of like his alternate channel where he uploads shorter videos.
Yeah,
he has really good video essays on his Big Joel channel.
Masculinize them in good ways. And I'm not saying that everyone saying this is bad or whatever, but I don't understand the general gesture of it. It feels like a way of countering MRA narratives. Andrew Tate must be replaced by more positive visions of masculinity or whatever. But the thing is, it all centers this vision of men as defective machines, failed operators of society, a class of people that is lesser than past generations were on some fundamental level. I don't believe it. I think the problems young men experience today, like every other sweeping problem, are best to think about systemically in terms of actual material reality. And I find it surprising how easily we enter these discourses around a vision of failed maleness, the wounded male psyche. We do this, I think, at the detriment of the men we seek to help. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Once again, I'm sick. That's why I'm like this.
He doesn't. The funny thing is like I think YouTubers are so like self-obsessed about their voice, because he doesn't sound sick to me at all. But maybe it's just my headphones. Anyways, I did want to point out like it could be a positive thing that virginity rates are rising, because it could also mean men no longer feel like they have to have sex to validate their masculinity anymore. And that would be a huge change to the culture of masculinity as we know it.
Listen, full disclosure, I'm going to say something as honest as possible about me, and I don't care if I share it. My first, I lost my virginity to a prostitute. Okay, you understand? She's beautiful, young, Hispanic. I tried with girls here and there. I was young and I was in a crowd. I was not accepted by these girls and stuff. I went to a prostitute. What the fuck? I lost it. That's it. And then as I got girlfriends or not, I mean, for the male, it's very hard to get. It's very hard for us to have a sexual encounter with women. Women could just say, "Hey, here." You understand? Let's say I walk to a club. I walk into a club. Hey, I want to naked. I want to have sex with all of you. They call the cops and beat the daylight out of me. If a girl walks in, I want to have sex. Well, come in, honey. What's the matter? You want something to drink?
Actually, no, I'm pretty sure women who come into a bar now and scream that will also get kicked out, because that's just
attention. There's some sicko in there.
Not normal behavior.
Yeah. All right.
But if you're getting to like this difference, right? Like you men also just have less risk with entering relationships. They don't risk as much typically. So if like you can say that it's easier, but when we look at it from both sides, it's only easier when you think about like the outcome of getting sex. If you think about the outcome of getting sex safely, Well, that's a lot more difficult for women.
Yeah, and it was hard. I mean, when you're young, like these guys were young. I mean, I'm talking from experience. I'm a guy, and I was in a crowd. I mean, I was average looking and everything, but you always had we were also in a group, and you had the 2-3 guys. They're all chasing after them, all the girls, and they're like, I'm like, yo, they treat me like shit. I'm here. I'm available. My head. I'm too scared to say that. But eventually you grow up, you go into it, and you become aggressive. And sometimes you meet a girl and you get lucky and you have a girlfriend, and that's it. But these guys, if they don't leave their home or they don't leave their houses, or video games, this is the problem, I think, because I know a lot of guys who play a video game like all day, like 10 hours, 7 hours. That's not normal. That's sickening. I want to tell you. Do you want to do tomorrow part 2? Are you up to it? Because the NBA is on tonight. I forgot the finals.
Oh, okay.
You want to do tomorrow? We do part 2?
Sure.
We got to put Brianna.
Let's say it's 50-50. Let's say 50-50. I'll message you tomorrow when I know what's going on.
Let me know, because I wanted to show you that video of her when she was what do you call it? Encounter with Callahan. Callahan, his name is. And he proved she had with this video here.
Now I know I'm going to cut into your game a bit, but
yeah,
I do have an expose on Wick.
You have one?
I have a quick expose. So
okay, so tomorrow's Wick day.
Can we give them a teaser?
Yeah,
a teaser. So have you noticed anybody mentioning Wick's teeth yet?
Oh, I did. I made fun of him one time, and President Sunday. He said that he had a GoFundMe. He got $3,000, but never got it fixed.
So I checked in on this for an update, and so far he is hiding pictures of his teeth. His last pictures that showed his teeth was December 9th.
Yeah,
and he's still uploading pictures of himself, but he will not show his teeth.
Oh, you think he fixed them?
No, in fact, I think it's the opposite. I think at this point he has no intention of fixing them anymore.
Yeah, he's a fucking evil piece of shit.
And so I'm starting to notice a trend with Brianna Wu. And Wick, this kind of like comes into focus when you align Wick with Keffels. Because Keffels did the same thing, right? She raised money and then let down her audience.
100,000 I heard, yeah.
So Wu is basically going to obviously defend Wick on this. Like it's what she does. And so she has a history of backing these sort of people. What does that say about her as a person that she's ready to defend these sort of people?
She's a bad human being. Listen,
I'm just going to say it this way. It wouldn't surprise me if it turned out Brianna Wu has also been raising money from these audiences she's trying to raise en masse only to not deliver.
Yeah, she's not going to. She has her eyes on the prize is APEC. You know what APEC is, right?
Yeah, no.
The American, I think, Israeli.
So remember,
that's what her mind is. She knows the money's there.
No,
she knows if she.
I'm not saying she's chasing the money. I'm saying
Yeah.
I think that she probably already scammed some people. Probably the content creators that she invited into PV by offering false promises and then not delivering. Maybe not to the people we saw working for PV, but for some other creators who she kind of lured along to get her way with them, and then just completely.
Yeah, Connor is a fucking slave. He's a right winger, and he gets money from progressive. What's his name? You know who Connor is? Right? He's supposed to be this ex-police officer, ex-soldier.
Well, he still is. He still is for PV, right? He's policing the discourse around PV, and he's making sure that only the people who he can kind of steer can pass, with the exception of Queeman. I honestly was surprised they let Queeman on. That was just, I think that
they're afraid of him. They're probably afraid of his expose.
Now they are, yeah, definitely. But
I was gonna ask you, how did she get in touch with you when she told don't talk to Omar?
No, she didn't get in touch with me. This was, these people don't want to be named because they don't want retaliation, and they're still very much afraid of her doing that.
Yeah.
But since all this has come out, there's been 2 creators who I was working with before, and then they just stopped talking to me when I came out with the Israel-Palestine stuff.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why. I didn't think I offended them. I thought they were pro-Palestine and stuff like that. And it makes a lot more sense now that someone like Wu had come to them while also seeming like she had maybe some future prospect going on. And this wasn't immediately after the IVP thing.
But
to be clear, but it followed enough, and that was my hottest take in the most recent history, that I was like, okay, these people just suddenly stopped interacting with me, and we were really getting along.
Yeah, but I asked you a question. You said don't do content with Omar, or how did you do it? Through Twitter or what?
No, nobody. She never contacted me, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't about you.
Oh,
I've had
okay.
creators tell me she told them not to. God, now you're tripping me up on
I
my
don't
stuff.
care. You don't talk. Listen, she's garbage. What's her name? Brianna Wu, you are garbage. You're
I'm trying to think of the
human
best
being.
way to word it, because they both said it differently. But
So,
basically, don't
first party that
platform.
they told
Don't
you
platform
that.
Nine Tails. She's a bad look for our movement.
Who Nantel? Who you?
I'm Nine Tails. Yeah, I'm Melanie
Yeah.
Nine Tails.
Well, I usually say that when I talk about a transgender individual, because sometimes I'm against like some stuff of it, and I always say, "Well, I have a friend called Cosmic Fox, and and I appreciate her as a friend." But the whole idea is when you contact other creators, don't platform this person. I really don't care. If you know my lifestyle, I'm well off financially. I'm not looking to make money out of this YouTube.
So I have a rule though,
I
right?
just feel good. I
I
just
have
feel
a
good
rule.
doing it. It's like therapy for me.
Omar, consider this though, right? Like, I'm not that much bigger than you, right?
Yeah.
But I'm probably bigger enough that if I went around to all of my contacts and said, "Don't platform Omar," you'd feel the effects.
Yeah, but the only person first of all, I was involved with the Crucible. You know who the Crucible is, right?
Can I just finish before?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so I think that the rule is don't punch down on when you do this.
Yeah.
You can only punch up. Like when I see like someone who's more of like my mutual, and they're going to go on a bigger platform that is just known for having like the worst sort of people, and I've only heard leftists come out saying I freaking hate that place. Then I try to warn them, right? Like I don't see any problem with that, because I'm too small to actually like for my opinion to matter much to them. So it's just advice, really. And B, like even if I went public with it, which I do just to make sure other people see that this exists, then it's not going to have like these broad reaching impacts, because I'm not the most influential streamer to ever exist.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, let's go to the. Let me watch the NBA. I forgot it was going to start at 8:00. The Mavericks.
Well, guess what? I have a spoiler for you, and you're gonna have to. I hope you don't have any bets on this, but the game's not over yet.
No, it's supposed to start at 8:00. I think.
I know. I'm kidding. Like,
yeah,
that wasn't a spoiler, right?
Yeah. No, I had called it the Mavericks in 6 games. Looks like they're not doing too well against the Boston Celtics. You see, I'm a fan. I love sports because it's the only place I know that is fair. There's no Brianna Wu, there's no Wick, there's no Omar. It's about professionalism and it's about talent. If you
think that the NBA though, like the process of getting up to there isn't a little bit elitist, and the more money you have, the better schools you get into.
What do you mean? I don't understand. Like no, if
like
they're
professional athletes, especially in America.
If you're the best in your high school, they want you on their college campuses.
Like that's the ideal, and it does happen, right? But like that's fewer and far between than the athletes who just happen to be at the good school that majority of the players come from.
Let me give you an example.
I don't agree it's fair on an economic level.
No, what I'm talking about the game itself. When they're playing, everybody's bringing their best to the game. They want to win. There's no hanky panky inside the game itself.
That being said, have you seen that show? What's that? Oh, now I can't remember what it's called, but I'm watching it. The Clippers.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that show, but
no, it's so good. It has you know Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm such an idiot. They probably showed me his picture. I don't know, but I want to make an example.
It's such a good show. You should really watch it.
I have a perfect example. The WNBA, the women NBA part of they've been losing money. Nobody goes to their game because the women are not supporting these teams. What happened is they got this girl named Kathleen. I think was her name, Kathleen Clark. She's just a small, skinny white girl in college. She broke all the records, all the scores. She has this beautiful three-pointer shot. She's not even doing that good. She's a rookie. Her team is almost in last place. But what she did is the arenas are full. people are coming to watch the game. She kind of reinvigorated the game for women basketball, because the average woman makes only like $75,000 a year, while the average NBA player makes more than $500,000 to $1 million a year. So what I'm giving you, I give an example that I love sport because I lose all my worries, especially football. Oh my gosh. When I watch it, I have my own room here, like a cave. What do you call it? A cave place, but just for me. And when I'm saying that, well, I don't know how we got this conversation. It's about fair. It's fair. When sports is fair. There is no, forget about the economic stuff on the outside. I'm talking about the game and stuff. When they come out tonight, everyone is playing to win.
Okay,
And
so if I see like some kids playing 2x2 on the street, okay, that's fair. But
I used to play
the whole
baseball.
point of the show Clippers, right? Like
Yeah.
they get into that. They get into how it's not really fair. So that's why I'm like, I really want you to check out that show.
Where is it on? Where is it on, Clipper? I'll look it up. Where?
Well, if anything,
is it a streaming service?
All I'm going to say is the life of the pirate is a life for me. I'm not going to get any further than that. But I'll tell you what it's being streamed on or whatever.
Yeah. Because I don't have a lot of streaming services. It's too many. You can't pay attention to all of them. Paramount,
and of course,
Apple.
Google doesn't want to give me the show.
Yeah,
gives me Clipped. It's actually called Clipped.
Clip. Where is it on YouTube or what?
No, it's also just a miniseries, but it's on FX. FX on Hulu. FX on Hulu. So
yeah, but trust me, there's no cheating. The only guy who cheated was Tom Brady when he deflated the ball, and he got caught.
Oh my god!
Except
for at like the higher levels, where there is kind of like cheating with like the selection process and scouting and whatever.
Yeah, I'm talking about, don't worry about that outside of the game. Everybody wants the best. It's like getting the stud horses. Everyone wants to know what the breed is, what's that, because you want the best guys. Of course, you're gonna play games, and offer these money here under the table.
But then, like you should be going to watch your local college basketball games and stuff like that too.
I watch college football.
Like, don't just make sure you don't give these big corporations your patronage, right? Because
I don't give them
whatever fairness they can ruin, they do.
When the last time I used to go to games, I used to be a big crazy baseball fan, Yankee fan, and I used to take my kids to the Yankee fan.
I almost got into baseball, by the way, watching baseball because NBA was free on YouTube. Okay, I don't need you to like baseball. Just hear me out. This story matters, right?
Yeah.
And then those MFers slowly cranked it away. They of course started heavy, right? Like you can't rebroadcast any of this for any purposes without our express consent because they're fucking tyrants. But okay, whatever, right? At least they're showing it to me for free and I can enjoy it. Well, no, that's gone. And then so I was able to get it on Apple through Apple TV for a while, right? Like that, okay, cool. At least they're doing that. I'll put up with it.
Oh, you're in Canada, you don't have the cable. Oh, okay.
No, I do. But and so that lasted for about 6 months.
Yeah,
by the end of the season, by the time the finals arrived, gone, right? Because they're so obsessed with making money, they only give you anything that you actually want for free.
Well, it's a product.
With the anticipation that at some point they can milk you dry.
Yeah.
They will not give you anything for like Omar. I'm saying like right now you're watching things free for cable. It feels like, but no, they're only giving that to you because they're making money. These are not like there's no fairness in that, in my opinion. There's no love of the sport anymore. There's no way the MLB loves the sport if that's how they're broadcasting things.
Yeah, let me tell you how much money I spend. I have Verizon. It's $90 a month. It has 1T, like the speed. That's for me because I don't want it to interrupt my streaming. And I have another Spectrum for the family. This is only internet. It's about $69 a month. And I pay and I have YouTube TV for $70 a month. That's almost $100 a month. And I buy Sunday tickets every year from the NFL for $249. I watch any football game I want. But what I'm trying to say that I grew up loving sport. I used to love baseball a lot, but at my age, it's too long. It takes too long. I need something fast. I don't want to wait, a couple of hours. I even broke my leg playing baseball.
I'm saying is like there are sports teams in your city probably playing a game tonight, and you could, if you just bought a ticket to their game instead, If you
Yeah,
divvied
yeah.
up if you
Well, I
divvied up
mean,
that $245 into the entire college football season, you could probably like you could at least make sure you see the finals and the championship, right? That'd be fucking cool. That's high energy. And I'm going to tell you, one time, like just in the high school level, I rode back with the team because I was like the water boy or whatever. I rode back with the team after we won the championships. That was the coolest fucking bus ride of my life, and it probably only lasted like 15 minutes.
now we all grew up like that. You know, sport is beautiful.
Like I understand the camaraderie and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
understand the love of the sport, but that's why I think they ruin it. That's why, and it just got like honestly, I can't watch it because it's all monetized. They're shoving ads in your face.
They have to make money. I mean, you got to look at it because
But
they
no,
pay a
but
lot.
like, but you
If
can
you-
go, you can go watch a college football game, and they don't have to do
Yeah.
that as much.
Yeah, I
As
mean,
much.
I watched it on TV. College football. I love college football. I love the Alabama. You see my shirt I wear once in a while. The Target, the Alabama. I think the Alabama Auburn. I watch it. The Louisiana. I watch that, and I watch basketball, March Madness, college only on during the finals. But football, I watch every game. I like the Kansas City Chiefs. They in Missouri. Look how I'm a New Yorker who likes a team that's in the Midwest. Never been to that city. Never been to that state because I like
American college football teams play nationally.
Yeah,
You
they
can
play
you
nationally.
can you can do the
Yeah, I
same
watch it.
thing with American college football, but you
No, we
can see
watch
it live.
It comes on
But-
TV on
but no,
CBS free.
you have stadiums in New York, right?
Yeah,
Where
I
they
don't like to
play.
go. I don't go out no more. No, I don't.
But there's
I'm-
your problem, Omar. They've suckered you in.
No, not that. I don't work, so you know what it is.
Oh, okay, fair. So
I leave the
but
house.
that's why I
maybe-
said
I
like
leave
take
the
that
house.
$245 and divvy
Yeah,
it up.
no, $49. I live for the last 5 years, especially this year, the last year. I leave my house about 6 times a year only. That's it. When I go to the doctor, I developed this habit, which is fucking. I need to get out of it. I don't like to leave my house because everything comes to me. Deliveries, Walmart, everything's delivered.
Remember how you said that like you feel sucked in, you feel like nothing matters. Like that's what I try to when I go out, I try to find things that make me feel like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you went to the game, maybe that's the kind of environment you need to be in to suddenly feel like you're comfortable again when you're outside. And I'm just saying, like, I have the same issue, by the way. I am deeply both like claustrophobic and agoraphobic, which means I'm almost uncomfortable anywhere where there's a person.
Yeah, I'm like you. That's why I understand you. Like, sometimes when you don't show up, I know how you maybe.
Yeah, likewise. I know it's not personal. I know it's not like disrespect.
No. Because I'm like that. Sometimes, I have to be in. All of a sudden, I'm not in the mood. Sometimes I'll cancel a stream like 5 minutes before 10 minutes because I don't feel it.
Yeah,
So
we need that energy here too, right? Everyone's always like, you need that youthful energy. Like you need to be young and dumb. And it's like, no, like I disagree with that in particular, but like there's something to like not being tired. Like don't be a food shops or prime Kai's.
In my house, there's probably 12 people that live in my house. We're a generational family. I live in the top floor, me, my mother, and my wife. My father died. We live together. We're not like the American family. We don't. And the second floor and the first floor, my daughter and her kid. I'm an old guy. I'm 42 years old, and under that is my son, and he has a couple of kids. So we have the whole family that lives together in one big house that we bought it, mortgage free. We don't have no more mortgage. I used to live in the city, and I moved out to the suburbs. But if I go out of this room, it's like a fucking club. The kids, they just busted in the room before. Remember when you hearing all that noise? Those are the young kids. But I used to be a very busy man. I was successful in retail business. I mean, when I say that, people are going to say, oh, this guy is boasting. No, I'm not. I swear to God. I was very successful financially, and everything I did, I was successful in it, in the retail business. Then I had a stroke. You could see by the hole in my neck, and I was in a coma for 4 months. Then when I woke up, my right side doesn't work that good. That's why you never see my right hand. My right hand is not working. It's like contracted. My whole right side. I don't walk that good. I can't walk a whole street. I can't walk a whole block. You understand?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, not only that, and it messed me up nerve. I don't like to be touched my face. I don't like to wear a lot of clothes. See, I'm forcing myself to wear shirts. So the whole idea is I develop issues when I woke up from the coma. It's like it's a different human being. Like I became allergic to food I never was allergic to. Uh, um, I'm not a people person no more. Like I don't, I talk a lot if they come to my house, but I don't go to clubs or things like that or everything. I just keep to myself and my family,
Well,
because
I think you're talking about, and I've only read a little bit about this, so I can't really give
yeah,
you
yeah,
much advice. But
yeah.
like
My body itches.
even minor stroke victims tend to feel like they have to, in a more like esoteric way, relearn how to walk again. And
Uh, if I told you me,
like,
I
and
had to,
I mean as a metaphor, right? Like
no, no, you're absolutely right.
you're still able to walk technically, but like in your brain is still taking baby steps.
Uh, I had this a little while back. It took me. I was
And
in a
that's normal. And
hospital.
by the way, so don't feel bad about that, because that is
No, 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 I
normal
don't feel
after a
bad
stroke.
because I'm glad to be alive because I died. Because even my lungs collapsed. I was in a machine for a whole year. I'm going to explain to you. You
Yeah,
might
lung
film
collapse is
now.
scary. I've been through
Yeah,
that.
my lungs collapsed, and I was with a machine a whole year, and I was in a coma for 4 months or 5 months. When I woke up, I had to learn how to eat, how to talk. See how I talk fast? I don't have that trigger no more because I don't. There's a problem with my speech. I didn't know what my mouth was. When they used to give me like fake rice to eat, I would put the in my head because I don't know what I didn't have no coordination with my hands, with my mouth, with my speech. I used to have
Oh, okay,
psychotic.
so I'm sorry that I called it minor.
No, I had to learn every single thing that I know right now,
I
even to
understand
talk.
now.
I
I'm
used to talk
sorry.
like, and I used to have psychotics, like people trying to kill me. I don't know what it is. Like once in a while, I see people,
Like the
and I start,
paranoia.
and I started. It was like real. It's like real people to me, and everybody's looking at me. And my mother used to cry, "Am I ever going to get normal?" And my father used to cry. He was still alive. And then I started saying, "No, help me out! Oh, they're chasing me with the guns." And I have like moments, like for hours, where I'm chasing people chasing me. This is when I got up from the coma after being, sleep for
It's like
five
your
months.
brain thought it was like traumatized from it.
I was traumatized. And the whole
Yeah.
idea, I had to learn how to breathe and everything. Now I have these after effects. These after effects, I have like nerves, like my right side. I don't like my face. If you touch my right face, side of my right face, I'll probably drop dead. Even the doctors, they know I can't touch it like with my hand or a lot. I mean, when I shave and everything. My right side is very
So
sensitive to touch.
is it like a pain sensitive or just
No, no,
like
it's like a
you seize up?
phobia, like phobia. I mean,
Okay,
is that
yes.
word? I don't
So
like
like
only my
I
right
have
side.
something like that.
My right side of my nose, my right side of my mouth is all messed up. My left, you can smack me all day long. My wife will smack me all day. But the whole idea, I got better. You should see how sensitive I was to clothes. I used to walk around naked, my shirts from my stomach up, because I have phobia to clothes. Right now, I have the AC
It's
high.
not really. If you have pants on, it's not naked, but it's okay.
No, but I mean, I can't go out because because sometimes I
Right.
don't do a
Yeah.
stream is because sometimes I don't do a stream is because I don't want to get dressed. My shirts here, I feel uncomfortable. I start itching and stuff like that. As soon as I finish around now, I throw the clothes away and I start itching my whole chest. The whole idea is that I never became normal again. One time I was running more than 13 different stores, my store. I started the first business I had. I was 18 years old. I opened a candy store, and I became successful, in that business. And I got lucky. I met the right people, and I expanded and expanded, and I had income. I bought my house there before I got sick, and I was doing good financially. My family, my wife, I was living the life. And then one day I go home, we eat dinner, and my wife, I'm sitting on the sofa, and I lay down like this, and then my wife, I just wouldn't, I fell asleep. They took me to the hospital. Then I got and I was dead. Like because what happened is I had an infection in my brain that swelled my brain and that created strokes.
Yeah, you
And
really
then,
are lucky to be alive. That's like
and
how
then
heart attacks happen and stuff.
and they induced the coma to keep my brain from being damaged. They told my wife. They said, this is a true story. I'm telling you. They told my wife that I might wake up a vegetable, and that it's okay. That they even asked her if she's willing to, to
Pull
the
the
machine.
plug.
Yeah, because I was on machines. I was breathing on machines. Everything's on
Yeah.
machines. And my wife is very religious. She said, listen, in our religion, we don't do that. If you get tired of taking care of him, just bring him home with all these machines and I'll take care of him. Then you should have seen I woke up. It was Christmas Day. It's unbelievable. I'm not even a Christian. So when I woke up, I still have some, I still know stuff. I woke up like it was September 3rd, the day I was knocked out.
Oh
And
wow.
and I was telling when I woke up, oh well, and the nurse said Merry Christmas. I'm like, why is she saying Merry Christmas? It's September, huh? And then I started yelling, hey, why am I here? I started yelling, and then she found out the doctors came running. The whole room was filled. What's your name? I said, it's Omar Jara. What's your phone number? I still remember everything. Where you live? And they were clapping. Oh, they were so happy that I still have my brain, but I didn't have my body. My brain was working. But if you had put a towel on my mouth, I would suffocate to death. I would not be able to push it away because I didn't have that sense of doing
It was like
things.
all automatic,
I had to
right?
learn everything. I was a baby. I was like born again. Everything I
Oh,
had to
I see. I
learn how
see.
to eat, how to drink. I would choke on. They had to feed me ice cream for a couple of months and stuff and Jello. I did not drink for 7 months. Water. Imagine not having to drink water. It's the most punishable thing you could punish a human with, because I had a track. You know, they were feeding me through a tube,
Yeah.
and they had a track because they were afraid if I eat, I might get ammonia. What do you call it? Like the stuff in the lungs, and I might die. And I couldn't drink. I used to beg every single person who walked by me for a glass of water.
I had a tube
Yeah,
in my chest
yeah, I have
to
it. You had to feed me. They were feeding me with the tube for a whole
no.
year.
Okay, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I can somewhat relate, but only like through like the narrowest of like holes, because when my lung collapsed, I had a tube in my chest for over 24 hours to suck out like the cavity that the lungs in and actually make the
Yeah.
lungs expand. And I
Well, my
like
lung, yeah,
I
my lung
wasn't
clogged.
passed out for any of that. I was on some painkillers, right? But just that alone, just like the immobilization and feeling like there's something in my ribs,
Yeah,
right? Like inside of me that shouldn't be there, was like torture on its own. Now, and what you've described
yeah.
probably, it sounds like 10 times worse, just like
Oh, it's worse.
instantaneously.
Imagine Cosmic. It's very emotional. That
Yeah.
I could not drink water, and imagine the thirst you have. What they used to do, they used to give you like a small towel, or small like these little balls of ice. I don't know what they are. That they melt in your mouth to keep your tongue from drying, and they'll give you sometimes if they want to drink, they give you like a small rug or like, and they put it in your mouth and you suck on. Imagine begging every day. When I started
Yeah.
just for a cup of water, and they won't give it to you. Then I swear to God, this is true. Before I let you go, this is 7 months in. I told my wife, "Do you love me?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "We've been married a long time." She goes, "Yes." I said, "Have I ever done anything wrong to you?" She goes, "No." Have I? We were good. Yeah. I said, "Let me drink, and if I die, I die. I don't care. I need to drink water. I have to drink water." She went and she got those, those hospital thing, those yellow things that you have full of ice.
Hmm.
And she gave me a straw. The moment I drank that water, I felt like the rivers bursted all over the world. Rivers, rivers in my imagination,
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
river
get it.
just ran all over the world.
You
And I
probably
drank,
you felt it go right down, eh?
oh my gosh. And I drank that whole pitcher. It's called a pitcher. That's what it's called. I said, give me again. She the whole day. Then she
It
said,
sounds like it's vivid for you still.
yeah, and we were doing it by secret. We were not telling the doctors. And when they found out, we had
There,
to sign. She said, I want you to give my husband water at night. She said, he might get an infection in his lungs. She said, listen, just give him water. If he dies, he dies. Anyway, his lungs are not working. Anyways, he's on machines. So, and it's unbelievable to have that life back. And then when I came back alive and I left the hospital after 2 years, when I was in traffic, it was so beautiful to hear the traffic and the cars and see human beings. I haven't, and it was so unbelievable. That's the idea of being in that highway with that traffic. It was like I was born again into this life. And I actually appreciated traffic for a moment in my life. And then my wife, may God bless her, she took care of me good. I mean, it's like my mother, she's in another room right now.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, they took care of me. And the whole idea is that when I was in the nursing home, it's in the Bronx, it's like 500, 600 other people on top, and we were on the bottom because we're supposed to be temporary.
Right.
And I saw so many people, they don't get no visitors. They have no family. And we used to get, it was so unbelievable. I was so thankful that I had this support. That's family support. My wife, everybody, my children used to come and visit me, and they used to run around, and they used to give stuff for the old people, play with them, run around with them and stuff like that. And I appreciated life more. It's unbelievable how when you're when you're given a second chance, how you appreciate everybody and you appreciate everything. You appreciate the rain. This is in the beginning when you're outside the hospital, because I was inside the house. Imagine being at age. This is a while back. At this age, and I'm wearing a Pampers, and I used to be by a room where I could see the moon, and I used to cry at nighttime. Why am I in Pampers? I used to talk to God a lot. I say, God, why did you do this? Why did you put me in this situation that I'm wearing? A man in his 30s has to wear Pampers and has to poop in a Pampers. I'm going to be honest with you. And I used to talk to him every night because I was in a room. I used to see the moon and the sky from my room. It was a big window in that nursing home.
Right.
Yeah, and I used to speak to God every night. I say, God, why? I mean, I wasn't a bad guy. I mean, I had a family, I had a wife, I had kids. Didn't drink. I used to smoke cigarettes, but I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. Hardworking since I was 16 years old, in business all my. Why? I'm kind to my mother. I'm kind to my father. I take care of my mother and father. I'm a family man. I take care of my cousins, my orphan cousins, stuff like that. I give money to overseas. Why? Why am I in this situation? I thought you got to help me. If you can't help me, just let me die, because I don't want to be in Pampers all my life and depend somebody to pick me up out of my bed and put me in a wheelchair, and I can't get in bed because somebody has to pick me up and put me in bed because I don't have the sense to get up and go on to my bed.
Yeah.
And it's I'm getting emotional a bit, but it's such an unbelievable.
It might be a good time to.
Yeah, no, I want to go with the game. I haven't started, but I want to share that in case people are listening, they get an understanding, because this is the first time I opened up, because I appreciate you as a human being. I never met you. I met you, I've seen you a couple of times, and I have this thing that when I see you, like when you cancel on me, I say, oh, it's okay. She's not feeling it. You understand? Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's not in that right set of mind. Because I feel it. I'm like, oh, she's like me. She's like me. You know how many times I cancel streams? I don't do it all the time. Because before that stream, I'm like, I don't feel like dressing, or I don't feel like being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I understand you, and I appreciate you for coming on. And
okay, thank you, and I appreciate you having me on for sure.
I really do, and thank you for listening to my idiotic blabbering. I gotta go.
Oh no, I could sense the importance of you opening up, so I wanted to give you the space to do so.
No,
plus
it's
your
okay.
show.
Yeah, it's all right. Don't even have a show. It's a streaming. You make me feel like I'm the late night.
Well, no, you should carry yourself with some self-respect, right?
I do respect myself. You know why? I don't associate with those people anymore because I know they're garbage. I know I'm better than them. You see, I used to watch Wick TV all the time. I used to go, let me get on this. Let me get on this. I don't do that no more. I don't even watch it no more because I feel like I'm better than him or better than she. Because if I could feel for human beings being killed and he cannot feel it, then we're not the same. And we should not even be on the same ecosystem because he's not like us. Like that song said, they're not like us. Anyway,
and for me, it's just really quick. Like he's just the sort of person where if he's not trying to talk to you, then he's just going to take you for granted the entire time and treat you like trash.
Yeah, he did.
Especially if you're a leftist. Especially.
He kicked me out of the stream 3 times, and I know he's doing it as a power move. He's doing it for Brianna. Oh,
he muted me so much, and it's just so. And
everybody's saying now, you're too dangerous. You're TOS.
You're too boring.
Oh, he kicked you out 3 times. I said, listen, that simp. I call him a simp. He was trying to look strong and big in front of everybody else. That he kicked me out of the stream. And the second time, he lowered my mic on purpose so people could not hear me. It's because Brianna Wu told him so. And you know what? Hell with them. As long as I appreciate other people, if I feel for other human beings, and whatever they are, I'm going to call it out. When I see something that is wrong, I'm going to call it out, even if it's my side who's doing it. You understand? I'm going to. Okay. I appreciate you, and let's see how it's going to be. All right?
Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Palestinian struggle is not just a cry for justice. It's a blistering battle for the most fundamental human rights that every living soul on this planet should inherit by birthright.
Do we have to convince the world that Palestinian mothers are like any other mothers in this world? Until when do we have to convince the world that Palestinian children are just like any other children in this world? Until when do we have to convince the world that Palestinian men don't deserve to be dehumanized?